Good morning, third graders. It is Wednesday, May 13th, and we are on lesson 8.3. If you're following along in your hard books, you should be on page 176. So today we're going to continue with units of measurement, and today we're going to focus on centimeters and millimeters. Our objective for today is to estimate and measure length in metric units. So they wanted us to explore millimeters and centimeters, which are metric units of length used to measure small objects. The question is, how do you measure the length of small objects in centimeters and millimeters? And something they tell us here is that 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So if you look at your ruler, let me grab mine. If you look at your ruler and you now flip it to the side that says cm, which means centimeters, you'll see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 30. Those are your centimeter markers. The little lines in between are called your millimeters, and it takes 10 of those little millimeters to equal 1 centimeter. So it says estimate the length of the shell. How many finger widths do you think it is? Check your estimate. So if I was going to use my fingers, although mine's blown up, let's say it's going to probably take about 5 or 6 of my fingers to do. It says now measure the length of the shell in centimeters. So they lined it up using centimeters, and they got a little over 3 centimeters when they measured it. It says find the centimeter mark closest to the other end of the shell. The shell is about 3 centimeters. Look at the ruler again. The smaller marks in between the centimeter marks are called the millimeters. Measure the length of the shell in millimeters. So the shell is about 32 millimeters. So if you were going to estimate in centimeters, you'd say about 30, but if you were going to be exact with the millimeters, you'd go to 32. So we're going to watch a small video on centimeters and millimeters, and it'll give you some other measurements too, just for the future.
A millimeter you can understand is about as long as a grain of sand. When you buy food at lunchtime, it's about the thickness of a dime.
A staple from side to side is about a centimeter wide. A fingernail on a girl or guy is about a centimeter high. 10 millimeters, a centimeter, 100 centimeters is a meter, 1,000 meters, that's a kilometer, and it's the same for grams and liters.
A school bus full diameter is about 1 meter, and a meter is about as far as the length of a guitar.
Soccer fields in a row, about a kilometer you'll go. It's about how far you walk if you cross 12 city blocks. 10 millimeters, a centimeter, 100 centimeters is a meter, 1,000 meters, that's a kilometer, and it's the same for grams and liters. Imagine holding a grain of sand, or a marble in your hand. Your head from the floor, a 10-minute walk on the shore. 10 millimeters, a centimeter, 100 centimeters is a meter, 1,000 meters, that's a kilometer, and it's the same for grams and liters. 10 millimeters, a centimeter, 100 centimeters is a meter, 1,000 meters, that's a kilometer, and it's the same for grams and liters.
All right, so that was just a catchy little song to help you try to remember that there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. And in the future, you'll learn about kilometers and meters as well. So when you're measuring with your ruler, I'm going to show you when would be a good time to use centimeters and when would be a good time to use millimeters. So if I have this little pin tack here, if I'm going to measure the size of the green end, I'm probably going to use centimeters because it's a little bigger and it shows it's probably about 1 centimeter long. But if I'm using the tip of the pin, how skinny and little that is, I'm probably going to use the millimeters in between, and it'll show that it's about 1 millimeter. So what we want you to do is go around your house, take some small objects. If you have a little tack, if you have a penny, a dime, you can measure the thickness, you can measure the length. So if I was going to take a dime, I would probably measure the thickness with millimeters, but I'd probably measure the length of the penny with the centimeters. So go ahead and experiment with the centimeters and millimeter side, just like you did the other day with the inches. Your assignment today is hands-on centimeters and millimeters. It says estimate the length of the nail. They estimated the nail to be about 5 centimeters long. When they measured the centimeters, they found to the nearest centimeter the nail is about 5. It's a little short, but it's closer to 5 than 4. But when they did it to the nearest millimeter, the nail was at 47 millimeters. So your assignment today is to measure. It says estimate in centimeters, then measure each object below to the nearest centimeter and to the nearest millimeter. So you're doing 3 things here. You're going to estimate how long in centimeters you think the pencil is. Just take a guess. I'm going to say maybe it's about 7 centimeters, and I'm not sure. And then it actually wants you to measure to the nearest centimeter, and it wants you to measure to nearest millimeter. Same thing with the paper clip. You don't need to go find a pencil. You don't need to go find a paper clip. They want you to actually measure the one that is on the paper. Your spiral or review down below is just subtraction. So go ahead and do the subtraction and do the word problems on the back. When you're done, you could submit that to your teacher, hold it in for the turn-in day. If you have any questions, please feel free to email your teacher. Bye guys, have a blessed day.